mean, my joke about, more penises than the busiest hooker in Boca is not necessarily just a joke.
Right.
So when I say somebody's big, this man is big. He's epic, but he wants to get bigger.
Epic. And he wants to be bigger.
He wants to be bigger. And I said, where are you going to fit that thing?
Right.
And he looked at me and he laughed and he thought I was just trying to be funny. I said, no, really. I'll have to dilate the women in Boca.
Does he seem to lack confidence, and that's what he needs? That his confidence, the bigger, the more better I will feel about myself?
That's exactly what it is.
That's a direct line for most men, right?
Yes.
Huh.
He's lacking confidence. You wouldn't think looking at him. He's very successful, very good looking, has the biggest penis I've seen in a long while. But he wants his penis bigger because he said it will give him more confidence. Because I said, why? I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Because I don't just swipe a card. I always want to know why, because I won't do it if it's for the wrong reasons.
And if you do it and they're still not feeling as good about themselves, they're going to somehow blame you.
Well, some of them are dysmorphic. And they keep coming
like
back
any other body
more
part,
and more.
I suppose,
it's
right?
It's not just women with their boob jobs. Men with their penises, some of them keep coming back for more. And I say, no, we draw the line somewhere. You're big enough.
Is penis size related to height?
Not always.
Not always, but usually, is it hand size? Is it thumb? Is it nose? I heard the nose thing the other day. Is there a thing that, or you're just like, I have no idea what I'm going to get until the time comes?
You never know. When you look at them, I have been very surprised.
Both ways.
Both ways.
Wow. See, ladies, the short guys can surprise you, and the tall guys can surprise you.
Don't judge.
It's a surprise you. Are women, wives, girlfriends, after you have, I guess at the end of the day, what you've done is restore both hope and confidence to these guys. Are they grateful? Are they, is there any part of them that's like, she did something for them that I wish I could have done without the step, or you don't really get into those conversations?
They are always grateful, except recently I had one patient come back and he looked somewhat upset. And I thought, what happened? Are you not happy with your enlargement? Because he looked great.
Right.
And it was truly a very good job that I did. And he said that his wife was upset. And I said, what part of that is she upset about? She should be happy. And he said, well, she's wondering if I'm going to go cheat on her now.
Oh.
And I thought, well, how does one lead to the other? But in her mind, now that he had a big new penis, then
it's entirely possible where it's like, well, she didn't appreciate my old limp penis.
Well, she thinks he's having a midlife crisis. He just wants a nicer penis. He doesn't understand why she's panicking.
Yeah, that's true.
And so now that is causing a problem in some way for them because she doesn't trust him.
How long is it permanent?
It's not permanent, but it lasts a good while. No, it lasts longer. It lasts at least a year.
Oh, at least a year.
At least a year.
So you can get through 4 seasons with it. And come in and get your tires rotated again, so to speak.
That's right. I'm your
so do they come back a second time? They're like, all right, I know you can do this. Let's take it up a notch.
Sometimes they get it done and they're so happy. They say, let's just keep going.
And the body, it's the same. The body can handle multiple procedures.
I don't go crazy. I don't put a crazy amount in.
Right.
I only do what I can safely do. But yes, there's always room for improvement.
But does it become elasticized? I don't know what that means. Like if it goes, is it like stretching out a sweater? Stuff to get it back in shape?
I guess.
But you can always...
Well, here's the thing. Some people are growers, not showers. But now men are showers at baseline, and then they grow. So
now the women, though, when you do procedure on the women, that will last longer, or is it the same thing? It's about a year, and they got to send them back in.
It depends on what I'm doing.
The laser.
I'm doing for instance, if I'm doing the CO2 laser, I don't do radio frequency. A lot of practices offer it. I think really it's a very useless procedure because you have to keep going back for more and more.
Right.
I think if the CO2, I have a very high grade CO2 laser, which does a lot of rejuvenation with the least amount of damage. That kind of thing, if you do a series of those, then that lasts a while. I don't have them come back in a year for more. I tell them they don't need it.
Should women do these things before they're done having kids?
Well, the thing is, if you fix the damage early, it never gets that bad.
Oh, really?
I have a patient in her 20s who comes to me. I have another one I have another one too who's in her 20s and she's getting it done. One has had children vaginally, one has not. One just wants great sexual and intimate function. And so they start early, and it's the same thing with the face. I deal with this at work as well when I do aesthetics because sometimes people say, well, I'm not that bad yet.
Yet.
And I ask myself, do you want to look like a bulldog before you address those jowls? I'm just confused.
Right. That is true. The earlier you get certain things done, the easier it is on the body too.
So you're never going to have as much incontinence. You're never going to have as much, vaginal laxity. If you get to it sooner, it just never gets that bad.
So there's something that you can do or that one can do to improve their sexual health and wellness that almost everybody has room for whether it's procedures, growth, improvement,
always
balance.
Always. Like acoustic wave therapy, for instance. There isn't a person alive who wouldn't benefit from that somehow because it's about improving and optimizing flow. So if you have better flow, of course your penis is going to work better because what's Viagra doing? You asked me about the science of it. The whole point is to dilate, right? It's going to dilate the blood vessels. It's going to bring more blood flow in. It's going to keep it there.
Right.
Now, if you have crappy vessels, it doesn't matter how much Viagra you pop. I mean, you could, pop Viagra like Tic Tacs. But at the end of it, you're either going to OD from Viagra, or you're going to end up in the ER, or you're just not going to have anything happen, right? So if you don't have good blood flow, if your vessels are clogged, how is anything going to work right?
Does the body get used to Viagra like any other drug? Does it take more of it to work?
Sometimes you need more and more as time goes on, but mostly my patients just get sick of it. It's not a very natural way to have sex, to have to be reliant on that.
So you tell your patients, like, you must ask them, like, have you tried or are you currently taking Viagra?
It's part of my basic
And you're like,
question.
let's get off of that and try a more natural homeopathic way to do that.
That's my goal because I think Viagra and Cialis at the end of the day are a Band-Aid. And I don't like Band-Aids. Be it aesthetically or be it, with my sexual wellness patients, I don't like Band-Aids. I like to fix the problem.
Right.
So I like to optimize their blood flow. I like to, for instance, with women, do the vaginal tightening. We can also do acoustic wave therapy, which helps with improving flow, improving sensitivity, makes them more orgasmic. I do the O shot for women, the orgasm shot. I do the P shot for men. I take PRP, platelet-rich plasma, which is basically a blood draw from your arm, like if you went to a lab somewhere, your doctor's office. We draw blood, we put it in a centrifuge, spin it down into platelet-rich plasma. I then take it a step or two further.
And you do it like a shot?
No. If only it was that simple, you wouldn't need me then.
A drink? Yeah.
You could just go to Quest and they'd give you a shot like one of those
like an IV.
Ginger shots.
Like a ginger shot, yeah.
So, no, I take that, I spin it down into platelet-rich fibrin matrix, which is a more gel-like substance, stays in the area longer. And then the key is it's painless in my hands because I am one of the top doctors in the world at this point doing it. I've done so many, I perfected my art form. And so it's not painful when I do it.
How many treatments does it take for a woman? A man is, you said it's pretty quick and you can do some work. Is a woman multiple treatments over time? It seems more intricate what you're trying to do for a woman. No?
It's always a little more intricate for a woman because they have more issues. The more shit goes wrong. The vagina, it takes a bit of a pounding over time.
Yeah, I know. And sometimes I get it. Poor women. God bless all of you.
It's a lot that goes wrong, yeah.
Right, but it's not just like, he couldn't he couldn't satisfy me.
Well, the thing is, the men who come in for enlargement, yes, they can walk out with a bigger penis, problem solved,
right,
in one visit. But the ones that have erectile problems, that takes more than one visit. Now, you can do a P shot.
Because it's harder to get up a bigger one, you would think.
That's funny.
I mean, again, no pun, but you would think that, oh, God, that's heavy lifting now.
Well, I have one that's mighty heavy, but he wants to keep going. I told him if we get any bigger...
Walking around with that thing.
Yeah, I said, if we get any bigger, the head of your penis is going to just turtle in, and then you're going to look funny.
Right.
So I had that discussion with him today.
That's an interesting discussion. Yeah.
He thought I'd lost my mind. I thought he'd lost his.
Yeah,
so
they don't have that at the accountant office. They're not having that one at Ernst & Young. Yeah,
no. But, it depends on what the problem is, but ED is not a quick fix. At least I don't promise that because it's not true. It's going to take more than one visit.
Do you ever work with or advise them like you're going to have to go get some counseling or some therapy?
I often recommend it. They don't always listen.
Huh. They'd rather fix the physical.
My grandfather said you can take a horse to water, you can't make it drink.
Right. But you always, even if they get, very rarely is either of it cure it. Very rarely is somebody going to solve other sexual problems with a good psychiatrist, and very rarely is it, unless you change your confidence. The confidence is the outcome from the procedure.
It's like my patient with the gigantic penis who wants to be bigger. It's a confidence
I don't
issue.
have his number for you, ladies. I don't know who that. He shall remain a mystery.
He shall remain a mystery. He's well known too. So the thing is, they have to feel confident within themselves, and sometimes a quick fix like penis enlargement gives them that confidence. And in that sense, who am I to judge?
Right.
Because if that makes him feel better about himself with a quick procedure and we don't overdo it, why not?
Have you ever run into a patient at a party or out at Whole Foods or whatever, and they give you a little fist bump? Like, thanks, doc, still working?
Absolutely. I have gotten bottles of wine and Godiva chocolate too.
Oh, you have?
Oh, yes. I'm very
popular.
popular.
You should get them from her or him.
Well,
again, like you said earlier, a lot of times, again, not letting the guys off the hook, a lot of times a couple's lack of getting it together or making it work, usually the burden falls on him. Or it falls on her when she's like, I can never be satisfied. I've never been able to. I have some trauma from when I was 15 years old and you never get over it. That's a real thing and that's a real problem.
That's a real problem. But here's the thing. I say both men and women are at fault because they have to understand their own body. They have to look at their own body. And if they don't even know what their parts do, how can they possibly have great sex? For instance, women don't always understand what I mean when I say I will do the O shot, the orgasm shot, and inject their clitoris. They're not sure what that is.
Right.
To me, that is surprising. I understand I'm a woman of science. I'm a medical doctor.
Right.
I understand anatomy.
You have the charts. You have the.
I get that. But I think as an average woman, I would still know what a clitoris is. So I'm always surprised that more people don't know where their body parts are.
Right.
So I think it starts by at least being able to label yourself. And for a man to understand that only 18% of women can ever orgasm vaginally at baseline.
Is that true?
That's absolutely true. So a lot of the action happens in the clitoris, but it's hidden under a hood.
But the men are so used to watching porn where it seems like it's 100% accuracy every time.
Yeah, and they're, the women are gushing and it's just, completely unrealistic.
Right.
So we have, very screwed up things in society happening, so we don't always understand what to believe.
Do you feel societally we're better at having these conversations?
I think we're getting better, but don't think that we are at a point where it's okay even in modern day America, because I am judged. People ask me why I do sexual medicine. They say I shouldn't lead with it because that will hurt the aesthetic part of my practice, because it'll turn people off, I'm told. Yet we're all having sex, aren't we?
Yeah, but I think it's like, anything that can make somebody feel better, get more confidence, or improve an area of their life probably is going to lead to other things. I mean, you might be likely to go to the gym. You might have more success in business. You might do something just because you're not spending time either obsessing over or feeling bad about one part of your existence.
You couldn't have said that better, honestly, because it does do that for people. For instance, the person that, we've talked a few times with the epic penis, he is successful, but he says that he will be more confident in his daily life.
Right.
And I asked him how anybody would possibly know the size of his penis. And he just looked at me like I was crazy, because it's about him, not about other people.
It's the way he carries himself.
It's about how he carries himself.
Right.
He will feel better about himself, so he's more likely to make a better deal in the boardroom.
He is. His interpersonal actions, even with guys, is going to be better. He's not going to feel, because these guys, to some degree, are feeling judged all the time.
Yes.
And,
it's in our heads.
It is in our heads. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't say anything about that. But you're right. So the first step is to your partner is what? Hey, there's ways we can, without saying, give me all the business.
Well,
how do you bring this up, woman to man or man to woman?
I think that any good relationship, at least in theory, is based on honesty, right? So if women fake it, the man thinks they're fine. Right. Now, what happens is that the woman gets passive-aggressive, and he doesn't know why he's pissing her off, what he's doing, why she's so pissy all the time.
Right.
If she was just honest and told him that he's not doing it for her, maybe the poor guy would then try something different.
Right.
But unless you're honest with each other at the risk of possibly hurting each other, how is anything going to get better?
And you probably shouldn't necessarily look backwards all the time. Like, we used to be like this when we were in our 30s. It should be like, you know what? We got a long way to go together. We could do a lot of things together. Let's make a phone call here and see if I saw a video that she did. I heard about it. I had a reference. Let's just come in